Assalamu alaikum students. How are you? Well, I'm fine. Thank you. कैसे हैं आप आज? बस थोड़े से लेक्चर्स हमारे रह गए, इसके बाद फिर वही रूटीन का आपका एक हल्का फुल्का सा एग्जाम होगा. ये हल्का फुल्का तो मैं कह रहा हूँ, आपको अपनी तैयारी पूरी रखनी है. And in the last few sessions we only have been left with 2 or 3 sessions. You are supposed to be paying more attention because we will be, in fact, as we wind up the whole course, we do talk about all those things we have been talking time to time on various points of this course. And what actually we were talking last time, we were trying to draw some comparison between radio and TV, both member of the same family, that is electronic media. And you are essentially students of broadcasting. Broadcasting actually covers the whole area of radio and television broadcast. Radio came first and then it was followed by TV. Not a large gap between the two. Radio in a very formal shape was available in the second decade of the last century. And in the third decade, you in fact had a TV. क्या उसे कहते थे? Mechanical TV. That was available. Then came the Second World War and the progress on the television. Broadcast was little hampered. It was perhaps in the United States, the scientists continued working on this television. But in Europe and rest of the world, they were involved in a very mad war, we call as Second World War. And there was no actual progress on TV channels, TV stations, TV technology. But thank God, the war was over and all the research work being done on television was resumed. And it took very little to the scientists to introduce and patent a television, which in fact in one form or the other still continues that way. In fact, the remote technology was also available by the end of 50s. People did have this remote control, but the number of television sets was limited. But anyways, we are more concerned about the product, what radio and television produces and where they are matching to each other and where they in fact differ from each other. They both have their own advantages and I would not say disadvantages, but some peculiarities attached with them. For instance, radio. You can take radio anywhere. You can take it to a park, you can sit on a bench, you can enjoy the cool evening, and you can still listen to the program of your choice. You can listen to news, music, talks, quiz, all those things which you in fact enjoy on radio, music particularly. And if you are on driving, you can still hear this voice of radio. If you are on a superhighway, you can still enjoy music from radio. You can enjoy it from canned forms, but you see, listening music from radio punctuated with news items and information and weather reports and all those things, it's a different sort of enjoyment. But the point with radio is that you cannot cover everything on radio. With the arrival of television, not only that the value of communication was different because now non-verbal communication was also involved, but TV also facilitated in different manners. For instance, if you are listening to a radio station, sometimes you do not get what radio station it is because of the very close nature of the programs, like news, like music, like dramas. So you're quite familiar listening this from, there's quite an overlap. You need a break in the program where an announcement appears, like this is Radio Pakistan Hyderabad or Radio Pakistan Multan. Only then you come to know कि ये मुल्तान रेडियो स्टेशन से आप ये प्रोग्राम सुन रहे थे. टीवी का ये है कि आप जब टीवी स्क्रीन देखते हैं तो दुनिया भर के चैनल्स के साथ वेरी कॉमन, उनका अपना जो इंसिग्निया है, यू वुड फाइंड इट इन सम कॉर्नर, राइट कॉर्नर पे, बाज जो है दे प्रेफर इट ऑन द लोअर कॉर्नर। फाइन, जो ही आप ट्यून करते हैं आपको पता चल जाता है कि ये वाला टीवी स्टेशन है। फिर आपकी जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेवल है वो डिफरेंट हो जाता है, डिफरेंट चैनल्स की डिफरेंट पॉलिसीज हैं, डिफरेंट चैनल्स की डिफरेंट अप्रोचेज हैं डिफरेंट चीज़ों की तरफ, म्यूजिक की तरफ, न्यूज़ की स्लांट डिफरेंट है। स्लांट से तो आप जब स्टूडेंट हैं मैथ्स कम्युनिकेशन के, तो आप स्लांट को कैसे मिस कर सकते हैं, टू अंडरस्टैंड स्लांट। बहुत सारे टीवी चैनल्स इस किस्म के हैं जो आदी होते जा रहे हैं न्यूज़ को स्लांट करने के, और आप भी आदी होते जा रहे हैं उनको समझने के कि ये इस तरह से इनका एक पॉलिसी है। सो व्हेन यू सी द इंसिग्निया ऑन द स्क्रीन, यू क्विकली अंडरस्टैंड in which context you are going to have this piece of message from this particular TV channel. On radio, you have to wait. And then, in fact, your analysis start from some flashback ke saath. On television, it is clear. And then, the amazing thing about this screen is you have to watch the score line of a cricket match. But you are under compulsion, or whatever the way it is. You are watching a drama. Should you go to watch the match, or you should watch the drama? Both are very interesting. You can watch a TV drama and you can still have a scorecard on some corner of the screen, which is telling you how many overs have been bowled and who has taken how many wickets and what is the latest about the match. Sometimes it is over by over. Some may exceed and say it's ball by ball commentary is also possible. Internet has facilitated it, but on TV screen you would find almost latest about all those interesting matches. And one thing more, you can have slow motion provision on TV screen. You can't have it on radio. If you are listening to radio and something very interesting has happened in a sporting arena, the person, the commentator can the best only repeat it in words. Well, it was a fine run out, it was a smart run out, it was very quick on part of the slip fielder to throw the ball and hit the wickets. A good work done by the wicket keeper is the maximum a radio commentator can do. But what happens? Television. Oh, amazing, stunning. You watch frame by frame. Oof, what a tight position it is. The camera umpire takes a lot of time sometimes, very agonizing, whether the person is out or not. If the person is your favorite, it is Muhammad Yusuf, and you don't want Muhammad Yusuf to get out at this particular moment. And you will see it frame by frame. And how many frames in 1 second in our system? On 24 frames in 1 second. And sometimes a decision is taken on 1 frame. It is such a tight position. And in fact, such a facility is available. And you can watch it on television by 1 frame. If it is a margin of 1 frame, I tell you, the umpires are getting ruthless these days. With this advanced technology, they're not going to give any margin, which was available hitherto. Some time ago, that was available to the batsman. Now it's no more with the batsman. If you are out by 1 frame, well, 24th part of a second, well, a human eye cannot make that sharp, exact judgment. The camera can. And if the person is out, a great, all around, if the person, but that is amazing to watch. That's all about the matches. And you can see a replay in a football match. When the goal is scored, you can see, in fact, the whole sequence from how the midfielder moved from the midline and moved in the right flank to give a cross, a sitter, and how nicely it was taken and put into the cage. If it is shown in slow motion, nothing more amazes you as a viewer. And in the hockey matches, all the penalty corners are shown in a very slow motion. And then after the slow motion, you're wiser and you know how it all happened. This is possible only, students, on TV. As we said, on radio, A commentator can give you some description of how the event has happened. Even it's difficult for the commentator to continue commentating on the current state of the match and at the same time telling you what actually happened, which came up as a score. I mean, how the goal was scored as a little time. So there is a difference as we talk about these areas of television broadcast and radio broadcast. And one thing very noticeable, and we cannot miss it repeating, you would find a scroll bar at the bottom of most TV channels these days. A drama, a very interesting drama is going on. It may be a talk show. It may be something of interest you're watching on television. A scroll bar is there at the bottom, which is telling you almost the news of the hour. The position of stock market, the latest world news, international news, national news, and local news. And if there is something extraordinary, they would flash breaking news, getting very common these days. Every channel is claiming to have a breaking news, even if the news criterion doesn't match to what the breaking news is. But you see, they need to excel and show to their viewers that they are the ones who believe on breaking news. But anyways, this is only available on television. You see, radio, it's very difficult for radio to stop a drama going on air. And you stop a drama and say, well, there is an important news, a sort of breaking news you are so used to seeing on TV channels. Radio cannot afford this. It's not available there. And then there are more things are available there. For instance, a new development has taken place. I would say a new technology has come up with television broadcast these days, and that is teletext. Text from distance, teletext. What it is? There is a provision in your set and the remote control. And if the service is available by some channel, you can only press a button where the teletext is written. Text is written. You say text. And what you would get on the screen, some information coming in the form of text. It may be about news, but generally it is about the stock market. It may be about weather. And sometimes the service also gives you information about the flights. Major intercity bus services, train timings, and all what may interest you in the form of text. Well, that is also available only on television. So you see, there is a difference as we watch these two areas of electronic media, radio and television. And sometimes some channels also give you a small timer at some corner of the screen. Is a digital clock is also given there. You can easily get what time it is. And when you switch to different channels, and if they have this digital watch, you also understand what time of the day it is in that particular country or that particular city. Well, that is much more amazing. All this is available on TV screen, TV broadcast, I would say, and not on radio. But you see, TV has its own areas where you may say it is a disadvantage. I would not use the word disadvantage, but it is a peculiarity of the television broadcast. For instance, you cannot take TV everywhere. You can't take it in the park. I mean, even if you have run it on batteries, you would not prefer to take television in a park where so many people are around. And when you are driving, you cannot fix your eyes on TV screen. You all understand. You have to concentrate on the road if it is a highway. But on radio, if you are listening to a radio, you can have 120 kilometers an hour. Don't go 100, I would prefer. But if you are on a thoroughfare or if you're on a super highway, you can enjoy music and listening to radio. This is not, this facility is not available with TV. I mean, if you are cooking at your place, you can enjoy radio, you can listen to music and news, and all those things, but you can't do it with a TV set. If you are cooking, you have to concentrate on cooking, because if you have set your eyes on TV screen, God knows what would happen to the cooking pan. Well, you see, there are different areas. Every area has its own advantages and disadvantages. It's one thing. As we were talking last time, with the arrival of radio, the electronic media, the radio came first. The arrival of radio, another media, we have been knowing it for centuries. Print media. It didn't die. The print media survived, rather it got stronger over the years. Even when the radio medium, the audio medium came into existence, it survived. It appears that with the arrival of TV broadcast, the radio broadcast is not going to die. There may be a temporary phase where the spark of the interest of visual medium has overtaken the radio. There may be this phase, but I'm sure the radio would survive, and that is also evident from these facts that the FM radio stations, they have come up very strongly, and they have regenerated interest, and in fact they have revived those old good days when people used to listen to radio programs. And this is an indication that if radio programs are made more interesting, and radio, in fact, the production side of the programming side of radio, in fact, they think of more creative approach to radio broadcast. The radio broadcast is not going to die in the presence of TV broadcast. This is for sure. The radios would continue, and this has been a case over the time when the TV broadcast has been there. For a temporary phase, I would say some business and some listenership has in fact shifted towards TV broadcast, but radio has survived this jolt of visual medium. And from the looks of the things, it appears the radio is going to survive. So the people who want to join radio broadcast as to make a career over there, they should feel very encouraged that the radio as a medium and the radio as an independent enterprise is surviving and in fact doing very well. And that, as I said, with the arrival of FM, it's very much in competition with the visual medium. But today, students, we are in fact going to talk a little more, and we will be moving away from this topic. I think this is perhaps the last time we have been talking in terms of making a comparison between radio and television broadcast. We may not get a chance to repeat this in the rest of the course, because a very little time is left to complete this course. I think 2, 3, 4 sessions, not more than that. So that's why I in fact repeated some of the important points of this comparison between the two areas of electronic media. So you need to remember all these points because the exam time would also be approaching fast. But today we are going to talk on a different topic. This is about the electronic media transmission. Basically, the focus would be on television. It is from terrestrial to satellite to cable. Oh, what an amazing topic it is. We will see the early days of TV transmission and how it has traveled, different phases of its transmission, and where things stand today. As a student of broadcasting, students, we need to understand what different phases on this technical side, on this transmission side, have taken place, and what it may be in coming years. So, student, starting from here, जब टीवी आया था, ٹی وی کے آنے کا آپ یہ سمجھیے کہ تیسری دہائی میں پچھلی صدی کے جب ٹی وی آیا تھا تو ٹی وی کے جو ٹرانسمیشن کا ایریا تھا، اور انفیکٹ جب بعد میں بھی جب پراپر فارم میں جب سیکنڈ ورلڈ وار کے بعد ٹی وی نے اپنی نشریات شروع کی تو کیا ہوتا تھا، ایک ٹی وی ٹرانسمیٹر ہوتا تھا بہت ہائٹ پہ، اس کے ٹاپ پہ یو وڈ فائنڈ اے ریڈ لائٹ گلوئنگ. دیٹ ریڈ لائٹ از این انڈیکیشن فار دی ایروپلینس ٹو فائنڈ ویل دیر از سم تھنگ آف ہائر آلٹیٹیوڈ. دیٹ از این انڈیکیشن. اور جو ٹرانسمیٹر ہوتے تھے بہت اوپر، وہ لائن ان سائٹ کے پرنسپل پہ بالکل اسٹریٹ لائن میں اپنے چاروں طرف ٹرانسمٹ کرتے تھے ان ویوز کو وچ کیری دس آڈیو ویڈیو سگنل. اور جو آپ کے سیٹ جس کو ڈیکوڈ کر لیتا تھا، یو ول اونلی ہیو اے لوکل اینٹینا. ایک چھوٹا سا اینٹینا ہوتا تھا جو آپ اپنے گھر کے چھت پہ لگا لیتے تھے، اور اس اینٹینا سے آپ کا جو ٹی وی ہے وہ کیچ ہوتا. یہ اس وقت کی بات ہے جب آپ کو 1 2 یا 3 ٹی وی چینلز جو تھے وہ اپروچ کرتے تھے، بہت تھوڑے سے ہوتے تھے. آپ ایک لوکل اینٹینا جو آپ کو لوکل اینٹینا اس ڈائریکشن میں کرنا پڑتا تھا جس ڈائریکشن میں ٹرانسمیٹر. اب اگر 2 ٹی وی اسٹیشن 2 مختلف اینگلز پہ ہیں تو آپ کو ہر وقت اپنا اینٹینا ایڈجسٹ کرنا پڑتا تھا. آپ اس بات سے واقف ہوں گے. اگر آپ نہیں نا واقف تو آئی ایم شیور کہ آپ کے ابو ضرور واقف ہوں گے، کیونکہ یہ ڈیوٹی ان کو دینی پڑتی ہے نا، وہ اوپر جا کے اس کے ڈائریکشن کو ٹھیک کریں. تب آپ چھوٹے ہوں گے کافی. جب یہ اس طرح سے ہوتا تھا کہ آپ ہر وقت چھت پہ گئے اور وہ کسی دوسرے چینل سے اچھا پروگرام آ رہا ہے تو اس کی طرف موڑ دیا، اب اپنے کسی اور آپ کی چوائس کا دوسرا چینل ہے وہاں سے آ رہا ہے تو اوپر جا کے پھر اس طرف کو موڑ دیا. یو ہیو ٹو دا بیسٹ ڈائریکشن. دا مور اٹ از ان لائن ود دی ٹرانسمیٹر دا بیٹر سگنل یو آر ان اے پوزیشن ٹو ریسیو. اچھے سگنل سے پھر دیکھنے کا ٹی وی کا لطف اور ہوتا تھا، کوئی شاہ نہیں، کچھ نہیں. اس طرح کی ٹرانسمیشن کو اسٹوڈنٹس ہم کہتے تھے ٹیریسٹریل. مشکل لگے اسپیلنگ. ٹی ریسٹ ریل. ویل دس از دا ایزیسٹ وے. جب میں تھا نا وہ آپ کی طرح کے تو میرے اسپیلنگ بڑے ویک تھے جی. کیسے بہتر ہوئے؟ سمپل. ورک ہارڈ learn the spellings. If you have a weak spellings, you can do it. And I tell you, you must do it right now. کیونکہ آپ کو پھر لکھنا پڑے گا، پھر آپ کو بہت سارا ہوگا. ٹیریسٹریل ٹرانسمیشن جو تھی اٹ واز ڈائریکٹ فرام اے ٹرانسمیٹر، اور آپ کے جو لوکل ٹی وی سیٹس تھے وہ اس سگنل کو ریسیو کر لیتے تھے. اٹ واز ان فری موومنٹ ان دی ایئر. سگنلس کی ہوتی تھی. اس میں ایک پرابلم تھا ٹیریسٹریل ٹی وی براڈ کاسٹ میں. یہ تھا کہ ایک تو کیونکہ یہ لائن ان سائٹ کے پرنسپل پہ تھا، اسٹریٹ لائن میں اس کی ویوز موو کرتی تھی، اور آپ کو پتا ہے کہ زمین جو ہے نا وہ فلیٹ تو ہے نہیں، اٹ از راؤنڈ. تو آپ جتنا مرضی ٹرانسمیٹر اوپر کر لیں وہ ایک سٹیج پہ جا کے جو ارتھ کا کرویچر ہے وہ اس کے رستے میں آ جاتا ہے، اور پھر جو ہی زمین کے ساتھ وہ ٹکراتی ہیں لہریں دے گیٹ ویکر، اور ان کا سگنل جو ہے وہ ویک ہوتا جاتا ہے. جب تک وہ ہوا میں ہو تو دے ہیو سم اسٹرینتھ. آپ اس وقت ان کو کیچ کر کے ان کو ڈیکوڈ کر سکتے ہیں. یو گیٹ اے گڈ پکچر اینڈ وائس. ونس دے اسٹارٹ ہٹنگ دا گراؤنڈ، جو کہ ارتھ کرویچر کی وجہ سے از obvious، پھر ان کی جو اسٹرینتھ ہے وہ کم ہونی شروع ہو جاتی ہے. یہ بہت عرصہ پرابلم رہا. ٹی وی آنے کے کوئی آپ یوں سمجھیے کہ 15-20 سال تک یہ پرابلم رہا. امریکہ میں انہوں نے اس کو ایک اور فارم میں اس کو دیکھا. جب یہ دیکھا گیا کہ ٹی وی کا جو سگنل ہے وہ ایک خاص پوائنٹ پہ جا کے پھر ویک ہونا شروع ہو جاتا ہے، تو اس کا کیا علاج کریں؟ ایک اس کا علاج تو یہ ہے کہ آپ اپنا جو لوکل اینٹینا ہے اس کو اونچا کر لیں. آپ دیکھیں کہ بعض ٹی وی سیٹ جو ہے نا وہ بغیر اینٹینا کے بھی بڑے اچھے دکھائی دیں گے، بیکاز دے آر ویری کلوز ٹو دا ٹرانسمیٹر. جو آپ دور جائیں گے تو آپ کو اپنا جو لوکل اینٹینا ہے وہ ہائی کرنا پڑے گا. دا ہائر دا اینٹینا بیٹر دا سگنل. اس طرح کی ایک پرابلم جو ہے وہ اس وقت پیش آئی جب لوگوں نے نوٹس کیا کہ خاص طور پہ جو ایسے ایریاز میں رہتے تھے جو بہت اونچا نیچا ہوتا تھا بہت، تو اس میں یہ بڑا مشکل ہو جاتا تھا کہ آپ ایک یونیفارم ٹی وی سگنل جو ہے وہ کر سکیں. سم ویئر ان 1950 امریکہ میں لوگوں نے جو تھا ایک कम्युनिटी एक्सेस टीवी, CATV, बाद में फिर वो और फॉर्म में पॉपुलर भी होते रहे इस तरह से। कम्युनिटी एक्सेस टीवी वो ये था कि एक आप ये समझिए एक छोटी सी पहाड़ी के ऊपर एक एंटीना लगा लेते थे जो कि पूरा प्रॉपर सिग्नल रिसीव करे, और फिर उसके बाद डिफरेंट वायर से, यानी एक ही एंटीना से फिर डिफरेंट घरों को वो सिग्नल चला जाता था। ये टेरेस्ट्रियल सिग्नल था बेसिकली। इसके बाद इसकी फिर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन जो है वो मुख्तलिफ घरों में कर दी जाती थी। इट वॉज समवेयर इन 1950। जब ये सिचुएशन पैदा हुई तो टीवी के जो लोग थे उन्होंने सोचना शुरू किया कि भाई इस तरह तो जो टीवी है वो रेडियो से मुकाबला नहीं कर सकेगा, बिकॉज रेडियो जो था उसकी ट्रांसमिशन अब बहुत दूर तक सुनी जाती थी। लेकिन टीवी के साथ अभी ये प्रॉब्लम था कि उसकी जो टेरेस्ट्रियल जो ट्रांसमिशन था, जो ब्रॉडकास्ट था, उसकी बहुत ज्यादा आप डिस्टेंस को कवर नहीं कर पा रहे थे। अब सारे इसके ऊपर सोचते रहे। देखिए स्टूडेंट्स, जो फिर स्कॉलर्स जो हैं दे थिंक अबाउट ऑल दीज थिंग्स। साइंटिस्ट जो हैं दे कम सो हैंडी फॉर द कम्युनिकेशन पीपल। लेट 50s में ये इसके ऊपर बहुत डिबेट शुरू हो गई कि कैसे हम इसको करें। बट साइंटिस्ट वर अप टू दिस। दे न्यू दिस terrestrial signal is not going to serve the purpose of this TV broadcast to far-flung areas. You may cover some long distance, but this was not possible to have get it across the Atlantic. इतनी ज्यादा स्ट्रेंथ किसी भी ट्रांसमीटर में नहीं थी, क्योंकि बिकॉज ऑफ द अर्थ कर्वेचर एंड द not being able to provide that much strength to the transmitters. In the meantime, the space technology was in fact sounding as something new and making rapid advancements. So the scientists also thought, why not to use this space technology for the purposes of broadcasting this radio or TV transmissions, signals. So they also started thinking in these terms. And students, by the early 60s, that is the age when, in fact, you started having these spaceships in the revolving around the Earth. It was, I think, early 60s when spaceships were there. And in fact, they were helping different countries making their scientific advancements and experimentations which were not possible on the Earth or the labs. You need a space where you can conduct these experiments about different natures. So it was here that the broadcasting was also thought as one major area where you can experiment sending message from the Earth to a satellite. How was that possible? It is in 1962. Telestar is the name of the spacecraft, where signal was sent from a part of Europe and it was redirected to a part of America. So it was first time that a signal was sent from Earth to a spaceship, and then it was redirected to some other remote, distant part of the Earth, and it was very successfully received. Then the experimentation actually continued to take place. It didn't take people long. It was almost 2-3 years. If I remember the exact date, it was April 6, 1965. A very popular commercial satellite, Early Bird. What a name. Well, an Early Bird spaceship was in the space orbiting around the Earth, and a commercial transmission was made possible. That was breakthrough in the history of satellite broadcasting. And students, you can easily see behind me, the things were like this. आप ये देख सकते हैं, the earth, what a beautiful earth, all the very colorful, and this spacecraft. It is orbiting around the earth. You see, the earth is moving. And when you send something in the air, I can show you it with the help of this pencil. If this earth is moving, and if this is something over the earth, and if it is also moving with the movement of the earth, it is keeping the ratio and the proportion the same. And it is not, in fact, changing its position as far as in comparison, in reference to the earth, if the two are moving the same way. So this was the speed of the spacecraft, which is maintained with the speed of the revolution of the earth. And from Earth's perspective, the spaceships are not changing their position, although they are moving, because Earth is also moving in the same direction, same way. So that is how it appears. From the Earth, it would appear as if they are stationary. So there is no problem that the signal would be lost somewhere in the darkness of the space. It would reach those areas where those components which would receive the signal, and then it would redirect to the earth. And once this experiment was done successfully in 1965, the satellite transmission was it had become very common. It was very frequent then, because once all these things are available, and now you are in a position to exploit what these scientific developments are in the hands of a human. So once the satellite transmission for a TV broadcast was successfully done, it opened the gates for innumerable channels from various parts of the world to exploit this facility. What happens? How the things take place here? From the earth, from your TV, you have a TV station. You want to be a satellite channel. What you will be doing? You will have one facility very commonly known, and I think students of broadcasting must understand. This is called uplinking facility. You have uplinking facility. You have a huge dish, something like 10 meters, sort of. I mean, it can vary with the advancement in technology, but it is a huge dish. It would send a microwave signal. Microwave signal, students, mean a very high frequency, ultra high frequency signal. A normal TV set or a radio stations, radio sets, I would say, they are not capable to receive those signals ordinary which are available in the market. The microwave signal, it's very strong. The microwave signal is sent to the satellite through uplink facility. If you are working with a TV channel, it's very common a word to be heard over there. What happened? Well, there is a problem with the uplinking. Okay. Well, you understand, you fully understand. So it is here you need to understand what uplinking is. Uplinking is the leg of this whole circuit which enables a signal from the earth to the satellite. Well, that part of the whole circuit, till going to the TV set from a broadcasting house, that part is called uplinking. Is quite a complex machines are involved, but the uplinking process is sending a microwave signal to the satellite. And what happens with the satellite? Now you find the place where you want to redirect this signal, where you want to beam, which part of the earth you want to beam this signal. Well, it's very easy. It's like a tennis ball. It's like a squash, I would say, rather. I mean, you're more familiar with the game of squash. One reason being Pakistan has been the top of the game for a better part of the last half century. The country has won innumerable titles, the world titles, and then you have this great player, Jahangir Khan. Well, that is, we have moved in that area. In a squash court, you move in an angular hit to the wall in front of you, and the ball would return with the same angle on the other side. Almost same happens with the satellite. Once the satellite get the signal, uplinking facility, through uplinking facility, then the space ship is in a position to redirect it the way you want. I mean, the part of the world where you want this to be beamed. This is quite possible. And that part of the whole circuit is called downlink. Well, if there is a problem in the whole circuit and in the transmission, what you are saying, well, if there is a problem, you are in a position, why you are learning this by leg, because you have to point it out where the problem is. For instance, if the problem is in the downlinking, the engineer would make it very clear to everybody that the problem is in the downlinking. So you need not to go through the uplinking process. The problem is with the downlinking, or the problem is with the uplinking. So you are in fact going through only that part of the area to fix the problem. So uplinking and downlinking. When it is downlinked on the ground where the signal goes, you have these receivers. Sometimes you have dishes, those dishes which in fact work in the downlinking are relatively small, say by 6 feet of a diameter of 8 feet or 12 feet. That is enough to receive a normal strength signal from the satellite. And you would find that just 10 or 12, or say 15 years ago, the landscape of most countries was very different. You would find those half umbrellas looking upward. All those dishes, all the flats, all the houses, all areas would have dishes. And what they were doing, what those dishes were doing, they were actually directed towards the satellite. You would have 3 satellites or 4 satellites, and on one satellite you would have 4 or 5 channels received from that particular channel, that particular satellite. So what to do when you have 4 satellites in a different range, and how you can get, you need to have different dishes? Well, this is one solution. You have dishes for every satellite. What was the solution very commonly found? You have a rotating dish. The dish would rotate on its arc and would in fact catch, or in fact would be directed at one point of its movement towards some satellite and would be receiving signals. I mean, it also worked for some time. Why it didn't work longer? I'm not going to put your question on you. I'm just telling you the solution, because once this satellite business or the satellite channels got popularity, and the channels were very sensitive to work out that they are getting very popular among the viewers, because they do their own research work and find. So all the channels which were in high demand, they went on encrypting, I mean decoders. You are very much familiar. Now you need to have a decoder in your set or in your receiver to get the signal. What is the fun of having a dish if you cannot watch a station of your choice? If you are reduced to a viewer who can only have a free news channel, how many news you would afford? You want entertainment. All the entertainment channels, all the channels which were entertaining the people, they in fact were the first to go on decoders. Encryption was something they applied, and until you have these decoders, now that was a costly business. A decoder you would buy with some cost, and it would sustain for some time, say for 3 months, for 6 months, sort of. Then you would need to have another decoder or recharge it, like your mobile phone. You all understand. So it was costly business. So what happened? So all that movement of the dish, and in fact the dishes itself, they started moving away from the landscape, and the satellite channels were only few free air channels which didn't charge anything. They were available, but people since wanted more on entertainment and more on those interesting things which were now not available to them. And that was a point to think for the viewers what to do, and in fact for the people. who were in the business of TV broadcast what to do, because you have this advanced technology of now satellite channels. You have moved away from the terrestrial mode of broadcasting. You have gone in the satellite broadcasting. That in fact is a very advanced technology, but still you are not getting channels of your choice. Most part of the world where people are not very wealthy, they're not very rich, they cannot afford this encryption, decoding, I would say, the decoders. So it was a loss of viewership, and particularly in the areas, in the countries where before the viewers were not used to paying for watching program of their interest. So what to do? Well, there came a solution. The cable operation, the cable networking, in fact, offered a solution to this problem somewhat. And as you can see behind me, a cable. This is an end of a cable. You can see it in a close shot as well. You may find different points in this cable. Well, we will talk more about this cable, but first we talk about what this cable networking service was. Well, you see that when the people were in fact having problem in receiving satellite channels because of decoders, this cable networking came up to help people watch all those programs of their interest and the TV channels at relatively small amount, a very small amount, in fact, as compared to the decoders for all the interesting channels. It's a difficult thing. So what the cable networking people do, in fact, they operate at a local area. There is no cable operation for the whole city or the whole country. They are in fact working for small areas. They are covering a radius of, say, something like 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 kilometers. And gradually it would graduate into a bigger cable operators, and they may be covering the whole cities. But right now the position is you have a small cable operator all around the country. In fact, most countries are in fact having this pattern of cable operators. What they do? They have this equipment to receive terrestrial signals, to receive satellite channels, and then put them in a wire like this. This is a coaxial wire. Coaxial wire or a fiber optic wire. Hey, this is a coaxial wire. It has the capacity to take a large number of signals. All those channels received by the cable operators are then modulated and put into a signal into this wire. This wire takes physically. Now you see, this is not a case of broadcasting, because you can remember, students, the very first lecture. Broadcasting is through airwaves. All this electronic media is working through the airwaves. But in cable operation, it is through a physical mean. It is through a cable, like telephone. It is a cable which is now bringing, it's a part of, before the cable networking, it may be a part of broadcasting because you are receiving airwaves. But from the cable networking onward, student, it is a physical work of a cable. Well, the signal is put in the cable, and the cable then goes in a receiver. In most cases, the receiver is fixed these days in the TV set, or you may have a separate receiver that decodes all the signals, and then it gives it to the picture tube as the process is, and then you can watch it by channel by channel. So what they do, they have terrestrial signals and they have satellite, and they charge a very nominal as compared to what you may be paying otherwise. That is a facility. Now it is popular. The cable networking is now popular all over the world, because I think no one in the world can afford the charges of decoding things from such a huge number of channels. So it has come handy. This cable networking service has come handy, and you are able to pay a very little amount, very nominal, and get all those channels. And these days, you see, Students, it's a matter of, I would say, 22 years ago, when you would have 3-4 channels on your set. You can watch those 3-4 channels. In these 1 or 2 decades, the matter has gone somewhere around 100. You may have 100 channels. And I think, and I'm sure I tell you, in the coming days, you would be having even more channels. So all that is possible through cable networking process. And what the cable networking people do? Well, they do some mischief on their own. They have their own channels in a way. For instance, what popularly is known as CD channels. What they do, they can play a CD just taken from the market, a CD of a drama, a CD of a musical program, CD of some religious program. I mean, any CD they want. They just play it, get an output from a device, and they put the output into this coaxial wire, and you at home get it as a channel. For you, there is no distinction between what is a terrestrial signal, what is a satellite signal, and what the signal is coming from your local networking people. Sometimes it helps because you can ask them to put this particular on display. I mean, the play a particular CD, and they would, because they are a local area. But sometimes a mischief is done by their people, and they play a matter which is generally, socially not acceptable, and that is one main point. The local cable operators are coming under criticism. PEMRA, you see, this organization which is responsible to regulate the electronic media in Pakistan, Pakistan Electronic Media Regulatory Authority is the full name, PEMRA. PEMRA is capable of checking all these cable operators, but you see, students, you need to have a strong society. A law is okay, law is in its place, but all the time you can't say the law is not being implemented, because the law enforcing agencies can't have a person placed in every small place around the country and checking what's wrong is going on there. You need to have a strong society and a common understanding of what is socially acceptable and what is not, and take care that the local cable operators are not, in fact, sending any signals which are not socially acceptable, and the families sometimes feel disturbed. Making a complaint is fine. Making a complaint with PEMRA to take action against these cable operators is one area, but I think we need to have a strong society where there is this common feeling that what is acceptable and where we need to check. But again, these cable operation has come handy. That has helped us to watch all those channels which we may not, if given to us, it's not then possible for us. And it is because of these dozens of channels that we are in a position to shortlist these channels of our choice, the sporting channels, the channels which are in fact more interested in sports, the news channels, the channels of entertainment. Every person, I tell you, has applied this classification, and they have come to a point where they just watch channels of their choice. Well, I mean, every these facilities has their own areas of pros and cons, plus and minus, positive and negative. Negatives are the things we need to fight. Positive are the things we need to encourage and all understand. This is essential for students of broadcasting to understand all these modes of broadcasting, and all these modes which in fact help us to receive a signal, a broadcast signal, a signal from transmitters, and enjoy this electronic media in this modern age. And now, students, we will move on our area. We could not move in this area last time because of shortage of time, because we were running short of time. We had to talk a lot on what we have been talking on, the comparison between the radio and television. But this time I'm not going to miss it. What last we had talked on when we were talking about terminology, different. We were trying to learn different terms. We were talking about take times. Well, there is a program of comprising different segments, an introduction, then with the one participant, then with the second participant, then with the audience, then receiving calls. You see, a program is divided into different segments. A good producer would always take time. We call it, the term is used as take timing. He would always, or she would always take timing of different segment of the program, so that when the time comes for fine tuning, or I would say editing, the producer is in a great position which part of the program can be edited to what extent. That helps. And if some segment is taking a longer time, it is easier to fix the problem there. Well, the taking time is always helpful. And today, students, we are going to talk about talent cost. You see, when we're talking about making a budget for any broadcast, we talked about the people who are engaged in any program. And in this case, we are talking about the people who have to appear as a talent. You have one talent, you may have two talent. I mean, if it is a case of a drama and not talk show or interview, you may have, say, 24 people. And all that is called talent. When, in fact, you are making a drama or program like this, a substantial part of your budget goes to engage the talent. Well, it is this term comes into action here. Well, what is the cost of the talent? You see, if it is a program with one compere, or the cost would be not very high. But if you have engaged quite 10 people or 15 people, and some of the people are very costly to get engaged in a program, you see, the anchor people have their own value. And if you call their people along with other people, so it's quite a part of, it's quite an expenditure. The part of the budget may be in some good percentage, it may be 10% or 15% alone that goes on to the talent. And if you are making a feature film, it may be 30-40% you spend on the talent cost. So the talent cost means all the money you are spending on engaging people who have to appear in the program. So students, next time we would be talking more on terms, and in fact we will be ending up this terminology chapter in the next session, and we will be talking on some new subject. Mind you, we are heading towards the end of this course. Keep it up, because in a few weeks from now, you will be appearing in the exam. Ask me if you want to not clear on any topic, anywhere, all this course of broadcasting. Till then, it's Khuda Hafiz.